If you want to stay ahead of the latest shifts in AI visibility, SEO, AEO, and agentic readiness for brands and websites, listen to Be Visible.
When you paste a URL into an AI content reader tool, like the one we built over at GetASO, what you actually see is pretty terrifying. A site can look gorgeous in Chrome with sleek animations and perfect styling, but to an AI bot, it often looks like 500 lines of nested div tags, inline CSS, and JavaScript tracking scripts before you even reach the first paragraph of actual text.
Wait, so 500 lines of raw code junk just to get to the headline?
Easily, yeah. If you are using heavy page builders like Elementor or Divi on blog posts, you are paying a massive token tax. Generative engines like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini do not render aesthetic layouts or run heavy visual scripts. They scan text and tokens. When an AI crawler hits a page that is bloated with structural code, it burns up its context window just trying to parse where the actual answer lives.
So, while a human sees a clean blog post, the model is essentially wading through a swamp of HTML tags just to find a single product specification or sentence.
Exactly. And that is assuming the crawler even gets past the front door in the first place, which brings up what is honestly the most common technical disaster I see right now. People build great content, but their security plugins or default server rules silently block GPT bot, Claude bot, Google extended, or Perplexity bot right in the robots.txt file.
Wait, so they are ranking fine on traditional search engines, but their site is literally telling the AI agents to go away?
Silently, yes. You go to your site.com/robots.txt, and right there is a disallow rule for GPT bot. If that line is in there, you are completely invisible to ChatGPT. It does not matter how good your content is or how well you rank on standard blue links. The engine cannot read what it is explicitly forbidden to crawl.
That is wild. So how do we fix the bloat and open the door?
It is a two-part fix. First, verify your robots.txt and make sure those major AI crawlers are whitelisted. Second, streamline your delivery using things like an LMS.txt file or clean markdown outputs. Think of LMS.txt as a concierge index specifically built for machines. Instead of forcing an AI agent to parse thousands of lines of page builder code, you give it a structured, lightweight map of your content so it can extract what it needs in milliseconds.
Like handing the agent a clean summary brief instead of asking it to read through a messy stack of unformatted printed pages.
Spot on. And if you can limit the amount of work these systems have to do by maximizing token efficiency, that becomes a huge positive signal for fast retrieval.
That makes total sense. If it is easy to read, it gets retrieved.
It gets retrieved, but only if the machine actually understands what it is reading. That is where schema markup comes in. I love the way the GeoLab guide puts it. Schema markup is the ID badge your content wears for AI. Without explicit JSON LD structured data, the language model is essentially guessing your intent.
An ID badge, right? So without that schema badge, the AI sees text, but it does not know if it is looking at an author bio, a product review, or a corporate mission statement.
Precisely. When you implement the core schemas like article, person for author credentials, FAQ, organization, and how-to, you give the machine explicit certainty. Take FAQ schema, for example. When you format explicit question and answer pairs, you are literally handing the AI model a pre-structured answer ready to quote in a generative answer.
Handing it over on a silver platter. But wait, what about freshness? Because AI models get really picky about outdated information.
That is a huge point. In plugins like Rank Math or Yoast, people often forget to output the date modified field alongside date published. If an AI engine sees a tutorial published 3 years ago without a modified date, it might assume the information is stale and skip it, even if you updated the text yesterday. Including date modified gives that freshness signal that real-time retrieval systems look for.
Okay, so how does someone actually check if their site has this working right now?
It takes 5 minutes. You take any post URL and paste it into Google's rich results test at search.google.com/test/rich results or run it through validator.schema.org. You want to see 0 errors and verify that article, person, and FAQ schema are actually firing.
And once the schema is valid, how do we know if it is actually working in the real world? Because traditional keyword trackers do not tell you if ChatGPT cited your site.
Right. That is the fundamental shift from traditional SEO to generative engine optimization, or GEO. Traditional SEO was all about tracking keyword positions to drive human clicks from search results. GEO is about tracking brand mentions and citation frequency across prompt answers to earn trust from AI agents.
Because the LLMs are stochastic, right? They generate probabilistic answers rather than static rank lists, so checking a single rank position does not tell the whole story.
Exactly, you have to monitor actual AI presence. You can use platforms like LL Magnet to track real AI bot traffic, monitor prompt mentions, and see which pages major models are citing over time. Or you can do a simple manual check once a week. Open ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini, run 5 to 10 prompts related to your top topics, and log whether your brand gets cited or if a competitor gets recommended instead.
So instead of obsessing over being positioned number one on Google, you're measuring your share of voice inside the AI answer itself.
That is the whole game now. Clean up the code tax, wear the schema ID badge, and make sure the models can read and trust your brand when people ask them questions.
Clean code, clear schema badges, and tracking citations. That is a pretty clear roadmap. Good chatting, Ben.
Talk soon, Ido.
If you want to stay ahead of the latest shifts in AI visibility, SEO, AEO, and agentic readiness for brands and websites, listen to Be Visible.